What up, YouTube? Welcome back to a new video. If this is your first time here on the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Definitely check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Today I wanted to share with you my PlayStation 5 collection. Now, I did one of these about two and a half years ago, and my collection has grown somewhat. It's gotten larger since then, so I wanted to update you guys on my PlayStation 5 collection. Off the break, I'm gonna let you know that I don't have the biggest PlayStation 5 collection. It's not my go-to. I love the PlayStation 5, but my collection is nowhere near as big as like my Nintendo Switch collection. It's probably because it hasn't been out for as long, but the collection of games that I do have, actually think there are some really unique games on the PlayStation 5, and I've definitely enjoyed my time with the console. I got it back in December 2020, and I've been playing it ever since. So we'll start off here with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I haven't played this particular version. I did have the PlayStation 4 version of Valhalla, and I played, I spent a significant amount of time with that game before I upgraded and got the PS5 once I got my console in December 2020. I do know that Valhalla felt, for me, it was overwhelming. That world was vast. There was a whole bunch to do, and it just felt like it was never, like you could spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game. And it overwhelmed me just a little bit, just a teeny bit. So, haven't gone back, but I definitely want to. Another Assassin's Creed game here. This is Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, when you compare this to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I don't want to say it's like night and day, but there definitely are some differences. First up, which I definitely appreciate, is the fact that this game isn't as huge as Valhalla, so it doesn't overwhelm me as much. Another cool thing, I don't want to call this a reboot, but they kind of pared things back with this particular game and made it very similar to the games from the beginning of the series. The first three titles, it doesn't focus so much on like the RPG elements that you see in the later titles in this series. So it definitely pares things back and it feels a little different, but at the end of the day, it's still Assassin's Creed. I am super excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows to drop in a couple of months. Astro Bot is new to the collection. I picked it up a couple weeks ago when it released, beginning of September, and it's fantastic. I just beat it today. This game put a smile on my face every single time I picked up the controller up to play it. It's great. It's a fun platformer that's accessible for everyone, it doesn't depend on the age, it doesn't depend on the skill level. Now, there are some challenging levels in there, but they don't need to be done. The game is great. Like I said, put a smile on my face every time I played it. It's a love letter to PlayStation. Definitely think this is an essential game that should be in every PlayStation 5 collection. The Callisto Protocol. Now, I beat this last year around spooky season, and I had a good time with it. I know it didn't review all that well when it was first released a couple of years ago, but like I said, I played it last year, and by then, all the patches and everything had hit the game. It was fun. Thought the combat was good with the dodging mechanics and everything. It was a good time. Really good narrative, and also there were definitely some spooky moments, and that has a lot to do with the atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game is crazy, so looking for a survival horror game. I mean, it's not top-notch, but it's definitely something that you should experience. This is the Ultimate Edition of Cyberpunk 2077. It includes the Phantom Liberty DLC. I haven't gotten around to playing this, but when I saw this on sale, I was like, you know what, might as well pick it up, and hopefully it plays super well on the PlayStation Portal, because that's how I plan on playing it. I am a sucker for the Dark Picture Anthology series, so I do have the Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, which was really good, and also House of Ashes, which I felt was good, but it wasn't as good as The Devil in Me, developed by Supermassive, and definitely in the same vein as Until Dawn definitely has that same vibe. It's like a choose your own adventure where your choices matter. You know, maybe all of the characters, you'll try to keep them, you'll be able to save them and keep them alive, or maybe they'll all die. You never know. It all depends on your choices. And I love that about this series. So hopefully we get more of these games because I really dig them. I've heard nothing but crazy things about Death Stranding. This is the director's cut. I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. But again, like I said, people say the craziest things about this game. Dragon's Dogma 2. I haven't spent a lot of time with this. I definitely will have to go back and create a new character, just start back from the beginning, because I played only like 2 hours or so when I picked it up. It seems cool. I haven't played the first Dragon's Dogma, but from what I've played of this one, doesn't seem like I really need to. It's like a fantasy, you know, action RPG with this really cool pawn system. So I definitely want to dig back into this somewhere further down the line. Elden Ring. I literally talked about Elden Ring in my last video, my recent pickups video. I suck at these games, but boy, oh boy, the exploration in this game is fantastic. I really haven't made it far, but one of these days, I really hope to get good at these games because I think this is like cream of the crop from like the Souls-esque games that I've played. This seems really dope. This is the Steelbook edition of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I actually liked Rebirth more than Remake. I'm looking forward to the third iteration in this particular series. But yeah, I like this one a lot. Rebirth was cool. I enjoyed it. Narratively, I like what they've done with kind of like switching up, changing up the story somewhat from a classic RPG. I think that's great, a retelling of the story. I love the open world aspects of this game in particular. There were some things that kind of got under my skin, like the mandatory, you know, like side quests that you had to do or whatever, or mini games that you had to do. But at the end of the day, it was really a good time. This is a Steelbook edition of Final Fantasy 16. I did complete this one. It was cool. You know, it's definitely not my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it was all right. I feel like it was definitely way more action based than any other Final Fantasy game I have ever played. It felt almost like Devil May Cry-esque. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of action in this game, and especially like the boss fights, I believe. They were, if I'm not mistaken, they were called like icons, and those were fantastic, super action based and like cinematic. It was great. You know, one thing that I didn't appreciate or particularly like about this game was the narrative. I thought it was super boring. The pacing was all over the place. But as far as the gameplay goes, I mean, you know, if you're into the action RPGs, this is a good one to play. Tango Gameworks Ghostwire Tokyo. This was a fun one. At times it felt a bit generic, but I stuck with it and completed this one as well. I had a lot of fun with it. Basically, you're in Tokyo and there's like this supernatural element and you're basically trying to save Tokyo, right? Definitely a lot of, it's not scary. It's not a scary game. It's an open world game, but you know, there's definitely a lot of that supernatural stuff in there. There were a little bit of jump scares, but it's an open world like action game of sorts. That was pretty cool. Definitely unique. God of War Ragnarok. I also believe that this is another essential PlayStation 5 title. Gosh, it looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. The cinematics are fantastic. The experience, the journey, the adventure is unmatched. I absolutely love this game for sure. It's probably my favorite God of War game. And that says a lot because I like the last God of War, that was released on the PlayStation 4. This is just, it's great. It's a fantastic time. There's a lot going on and I absolutely love it. My bad, guys, if you hear any background noise. My neighbors are doing some yard work. This is Horizon Forbidden West. This is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, which that first game definitely threw me for a loop. I loved that first game. It was fantastic. Thought it was great. This one, not so much. Still think it's a good game, but there were some parts as far as the pacing goes. Oh, it just felt like it was dragging. It was just dragging on and on and on. Yeah, Love Aloy. I think she's a fantastic protagonist. But man, this game, whew, despite me finishing it, it definitely felt like a slog. I do have The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. These are remasters of remasters. Basically, yeah, I'm a sucker. And I think a lot of the reason why I repurchased these games was because the television show was so freaking fantastic that I wanted to experience the games all over again. So I picked these PlayStation 5 versions up. Fantastic series. Fantastic series. If you haven't played The Last of Us, definitely check it out. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. This is definitely one of my favorite games of the year. Fantastic Yakuza, you know, adventure, set in Hawaii and in Tokyo. Ichiban is he's a character, boy. He's a character. Ichiban and his gang are out there in those streets, you know, those Hawaii streets doing their thing. Great game. Like I said, definitely one of my favorites of the year. And also I have Like a Dragon Ishin or Ishin. I haven't had a chance to play this one, but this is a remake. It's a remaster of the PlayStation 3. I believe it's the PlayStation 3 game that never came out here in the West. So definitely we'll get around to this. This is Lost Judgment. It's the sequel to Judgment. I have Judgment on the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I picked this up, Steelbook. I really like these games. It's basically a spinoff to the Yakuza series. You play as different characters. Sometimes you'll see some some intertwine in there as far as the narrative goes. But I really enjoy this series just because of the investigative aspect of it. You play as a PI, and I think it's really fun. Definitely a good time. This is the Ultimate Edition of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which comes with the Miles Morales game, and then there was also a download code for the original Spider-Man remaster. Two great, fantastic superhero games, and the same can be said about Marvel Spider-Man 2. Not really much to say, again, about these games. We all know Insomniac did their thing with these superhero games, these Spider-Man games. They're fantastic. I most recently talked about Pacific Drive in my most recent pickups video. This is different. It's a, you know, driving survival game or survival driving game that I feel like is definitely unique, definitely has some supernatural vibes sprinkled in there. And when I say survival, it's definitely survival. You run out of gas, you're gonna have to siphon some gas from another car that's just out there. It's post-apocalyptic. Like I said, has some supernatural elements to it. Definitely different. Another super massive joint here. This is the Quarry. I really love this game. It is set during like the whole vibe of it is you know, you play as like these camp counselors or whatnot at this summer camp, and there's a bunch of jump scares in here. I think this is the game where I've saved the most characters out of any of the supermassive games, because I really did care. Like, I cared. Thought the voice acting was good. The acting was good. Yeah, definitely some jump scares in there, but this was definitely a good time. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Talk about a fantastic like action platformer. This is definitely it. Looks fantastic. Insomniac again did their thing with this one. I really wish that, you know, PlayStation, Sony would bring back these awesome games. Where's Jak and Daxter? Where's more Ratchet and Clank? Definitely need that in my life. But yeah, this game was fantastic. Resident Evil 4. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a remake of RE4. But regardless, if you know, you know. This is a fantastic survival horror game. Really good stuff. It definitely brings back memories. I mean, I've played it a couple times now. Not this particular version, but I'm talking about from, you know, the GameCube. Starting off on the GameCube. So, great game, fantastic game. Love this one to pieces. I also have Resident Evil Village, which I thought was a good time. Definitely not my favorite Resident Evil game, but it has a whole bunch of personality. I know people are hot or cold on this one. You know, I'm a little lukewarm with it. I enjoyed my experience with it, and I'm looking for the next Resident Evil game. Looking forward to seeing what that's going to be about. Returnal is an action, like definitely a whole lot of action with an emphasis on like shooting. It's a roguelike, right? So when you die, that's it. You play as this middle-aged woman, definitely has this space vibe to it. I believe, yeah, she's out in space. And if I'm not mistaken, excuse me guys, because it's been a while since I've actually played it, but I believe she's trying to find her way home. The shooting felt really good in this game. It was just hard, and I couldn't get past that third boss. And I believe now, you know, Housemarque, the developer of this game, has gone back and done some work to the game, added some patches, and I think there's even like maybe a difficulty mode or so, DLC, all that good stuff, I believe. So I just might go back and stream this one and finally take it off that backlog list. But this was definitely a different game that I totally enjoyed. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I am a sucker for a cutesy platformer, and this is definitely what this is, right? It's a cute platformer set in like it's set around the Little Big Planet universe. I'm not the biggest fan of Little Big Planet though, just because I feel like the jumping is a little floaty for me, but at the end of the day, it was still a good time. Cool levels, definitely fun. Put a little smile on my face when I played it. Stellar Blade. I completed this game earlier this year and had a really good time with it. It's an action game, kind of like in the same vein as something like a Bayonetta. The action felt fluid. The worlds were totally different and unique. I love the look and the vibe of this game. I know it got some flack when it was released, but it really was a good time. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, or it's Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise. Regardless, I haven't played this game yet. I don't know if I should play this game first or play the original Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 1, just because this is the sequel to that. But yeah, I got it for super cheap. Still haven't played it. Another game that I got for super cheap is Chia. This is the OLED edition. This originally came out digitally, and I believe it was free for like a certain tier of PlayStation Plus. And I played it when I had PlayStation Plus. I no longer have it. And I really enjoyed it. It was definitely unique, like an adventure game, where the mechanic was, you know, the main character could kind of, you know, soul shift, you know what I'm saying, into basically everything that's in the environment. So if there's a bird, you know, you can kind of shift into that bird and use the bird's abilities like flying. If you see a crab, you can kind of shift into that crab and be able to like, you know, walk across the sea or whatever. It was definitely unique. I should go back and start it from the beginning and play more of it. But yeah, different type of cutesy game. It looks cutesy, but I remember that there were some issues, or not issues, but it was a little dark. It got a little dark in the very beginning, as far as the narrative goes. So yeah, really, and it's very cultural. I do want to say that. Definitely cultural, which I dig. So Chia. Topspin 2K25, I got this on sale and it is really good. It's been years. When I say years, I mean years since I've played a Topspin game. I was obsessed with the original Topspin on the OG Xbox. That's pretty much all I played online was Topspin. And it's cool to finally revisit the series after so long. I felt that, you know, I wasn't going to, let me say that Topspin 2K25, the gameplay mechanics are a lot more, I don't want to say challenge. No, I will say challenging than what I remember the original Topspin being. You have a shot meter this time around, and it took me a good while to get used to that shot meter. Not gonna lie, I was losing games left and right. I still haven't played this online. Well, I probably won't because I don't have PlayStation Plus. But I was focusing on the single player career, the career mode for my tennis player, and it's a good time. Of course, you got the mini games to like practice and get good. You know, the courts look great. You know, there's also like exhibition matches that you can do. It's fun. I'm glad that I definitely checked it out at a cheap price because, like I said, this is one of my favorite sports games. And it's nice to see that it's finally back. Ultros Deluxe Edition. This is a psychedelic Metroidvania. I haven't completed it. I did start playing it a bit, and I played it on my PlayStation Portal, which seemed like the best option to play this game. Looks amazing on that. Super colorful, psychedelic Metroidvania that I definitely need to play more of because, you know, Metroidvanias are my jam. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. This collection includes 2 Uncharted games. You got Uncharted 4, A Thieves End, and then there's Uncharted The Lost Legacy. I played through those 2 games back when they were released originally, and yeah, remastered edition of 2 good Uncharted games. Count me in. I got it on sale. Matter of fact, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, when are we getting a new Uncharted game? I feel like, you know, it's about time that we get us a new Uncharted game. Naughty Dog, what's the deal? We need more Nathan Drake in our life. Last but not least, this is Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Fantastic Ys game. Definitely one of my favorite. You know, I played this on the PlayStation Vita, and when I saw that it was coming, and I missed out on the Switch version, but when I saw that this was out on the PlayStation 5, I was like, I need an updated copy of this game. Fantastic Ys game. Again, I can't stress that enough. Definitely check it out if you are new to the series. I think this is a good place to start. One of these days I'll get around to replaying it, but I'm glad that I have it in my collection again because I still have my Vita version. Just great, fantastic sense of like adventure, combat. It's an action RPG, so combat is on point for me. Love the characters, set like on a beach. It's dope. Definitely check it out. That's my PlayStation 5 collection. If you guys have any recommendations, what I should add to the collection, definitely let me know. If you've played any of these games, let me know what you think about it. I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time. Peace.